am on a mission, and that mission is to slap people upside the head and wake them up and even make them hate me, if that's what it takes to get them to go examine what I'm telling them to find out that it's right.
First of all, this needs to be said. There never was a war. How can you say that, Bill? Well, a war is when two armies are fighting.
Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out.
You know, and all these hidden agendas and just brainwashing and bizarre belief systems that are being thrown at us, you know, when they should all leave. Not only the good ones and the bad ones, they should all just leave and leave us alone.
All right, everyone. It's Thursday, the 27th of February, 2014, and we have an interesting show for you tonight. And I have a few guests on tonight. I have Miss Listener and I have Mr. Dan on, and eventually Mr. Mike will be showing on too. So it's gonna be interesting. This is Just in Time. I'm your host, Justyn, and we'll play it by ear the whole night long. And it's gonna be, like I said, interesting. Mr. Dan, Mr. Liza, how's it going?
Terrific. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing, man. I'm doing. You know, life has been throwing me curveballs left and right.
When one door closes, another door opens. So I hope you wish you the best in your endeavors and your being on your own and making money for yourself.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and I like to think that you know, doing what's right and what you can do, like for yourself and for other people, like will pay off. So I'm working out on that whole thing. But to let everyone know, I'm hoping I have phones tonight, open phones tonight. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out here pretty soon. But I have open phones. Hopefully later, I'll let you all know. But tonight's gonna probably be my last show. A whole lot of fit has hit the shan in my personal life, and I'm broke. And when it comes down to living life and trying to make ends meet, well, I guess that comes first. So, anyone wants to call in, as soon as I get phones, I'll let you know. You can call in and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. You know, tell me that I've been a shill or I've been on point. Either way, I don't care. I want to have people call in and like tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I also like to hear what you and Mr. Dan and Ms. Listener have to say, and then when Mike comes on, I want to hear the same thing. So it's going to be next couple hours is going to be interesting, and it's kind of impromptu, and didn't mean for everything to happen the way it did, but it's kind of life gets in the way of life. So we'll go with that to begin with. So Mr. Dan, Mr. Liza, what do you guys got to say?
Well, you called me Mr. Liza, and I guess now we can tell everyone I did have a sex change operation, so I am Mr. Liza.
I meant Ms. Liza.
That's why I came to Mexico, because you can get that stuff done for a quarter what it costs.
I didn't mean to do that, okay? Shit, man.
An ulterior motive for going to Mexico. I understand now, Liza. Okay.
Too much brain activity going on here, okay?
How is Mexico, Liza?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's just been a wonderful, there's no words for it. I'm kind of in shock, over, the people and the places I've seen. And, I did, come down here with the idea of looking for work, and I found, I was hired by one of the schools. So I'm going back to Canada to get my visa in order and, learn Spanish as quickly as I can. Then I'll be moving down here the end of the summer. So I'm very, very excited.
Well, that's neat.
So our lives are going in different directions. Things change. If you don't like the way things are, then take a chance and do something different, right?
Sort of strange how you're changing from extreme cold climate to extreme warm climate there. It's
Well,
quite
I
a
think I'll
shocking
handle it.
system. You can handle
I
it?
lived a year in Southeast Asia and I loved it. I came back to Canada and I thought, well, I could handle either actually. Extreme north or cold, I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
You know, I went from extreme north to Mexico before, and really like it. The first couple days, it's like, oh my god, the temperature is so crazy. Like, but after you get used to it, like it's not too bad. Like really, like it's just like summertime, because summertime comes pretty abruptly, and it goes from like being negative something to 30 something to 60 something within a week. So it's pretty easy to deal with, and
I wait for summer all winter. So I never complain. You know, doesn't matter how hot it gets.
Or how cold either, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I like the cold myself. And I just got the word, man. We got phones tonight. So if anyone wants to call in, we got phones, 718-717-8296. This will be my last show for a while. I don't know what's going to happen soon. I may be back on the radio, within a couple of weeks or a month or less even. I don't know, but like everything seems to be up in the air right now. And I just would like to have a nice little, back and forth with our listeners and our fellow hosts and other people, listener, on there, talking with us. Just to, I don't know, just get it all out there. You know, we're doing what we gotta do, and we gotta try to, live our own lives at the same point. So we have open phones if anyone wants to call in.
Yeah, I hope it works out for you, Justyn. You know, working for yourself is so much better than getting somebody else rich, I always said.
Well, yeah, but there's also the stressful point, Dan. You know, the stressful thing is making sure you got the work. And I can understand, like, to a certain extent, to a business owner who would make sure he has enough work for all of the people that work for him, which is a lot more difficult than what I'm doing. Now I'm just doing me. And, so I'm trickling in work slowly. And while we were talking earlier, like I did have a big job call in, on my personal phone. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to play this whole thing out. So I thank you, man. And, I play it by ear, man. That's my whole.
I think it'll work out as long as you do quality work. Quality work at a good price will always keep you in business. You know that.
Seems to be the trend, man. Seems to be the trend.
And a lot of people in Vermont drive Subarus, correct?
Oh yeah, it's the state bird, man. The state bird is Subaru. the green legacy wagon is the state bird in the state, man. Like they're everywhere. They're all green. They're all wagons, and they're all legacies. So like the work is out there. Like, you know, to beat out the competition is a whole other thing. So I'm going the whole the honest man, you know, the honest man's route of like, I do quality work, and if you feel like you were screwed, I will make it better on any aspect that I can to make sure like you feel like it was right.
And give a good price. And
that's right. The good price is already there. Like there is no question about the price. It's just, you know, a lot of people like, well, I could have got this and that, and, you know, a rental car. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I don't do rental cars. I can't afford that. But you got good quality service, so we'll deal with that.
It'll work. I'm sure it'll work out for you, Justyn.
Well, I hope so. And I'd like to say, like, you know, I've really appreciated being able to come here on air and talk about my gripes and grievances, and also the pluses and minuses, you know, in the society we all live in. And I thank Jules for providing this whole network for us all to come on and save our peace, essentially. And you know, no hard feelings. It's life's getting in the way, man. And like, if I can't put food on my table, then I gotta do something different.
Well, more power to you, Justyn. You know me. You know I'm all for working for yourself. So
It's the way to go. It's the way to go. Work for yourself, make money for yourself, and in the end, who benefits? You and your family.
Absolutely. It's the only way to go. And you have a trade. That's another main thing. You have a skill or a trade that people want. And, that's the main thing about getting a job nowadays. There's
You know
not
what? You
very
can't
many.
outsource working on Subarus to China. That's one damn good thing.
That's
You know, I mean,
Very
that's
true.
there for sure. Speaking of cars, you got a lot of Subarus there. Down here, there's a lot of Volkswagens. And I asked the taxi driver today, I said, the Volkswagen, I said in Canada we call it a beetle, like a bug. He said, aquí, here we call them cucarachas. So they call them Volkswagens cockroaches.
Cockroaches.
And they're everywhere. They're everywhere. I've never seen so many. It's really hilarious. It's like being around a bunch of,
You see, in
ladybugs.
Mexico, the Volkswagen Beetle, the original design, or like the last design they made in 1967, they didn't stop building those in Mexico until 1998. So the actual Volkswagen Beetle from 1967 was just discontinued in like 99. Like they
Well,
were
I'll tell you, man,
they were
there's
making them
thousands
every
of
year.
them, thousands and tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands that I've seen in Mexico. It's crazy.
So that's the predominant car on the highway then, is a Volkswagen.
It is. It is. Well, not
They're very
predominant.
reliable cars.
There's other little ones, but that's the most obvious. I mean, there's a lot of them. Maybe 1/10.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big Beetle fan. They are easy to work on, yes, but they do leave you stranded on the side of the interstate. And also, they're air cooled, so there is no heat in those cars when you live in the middle of the Northeast. And when you need heat in the middle of winter, you don't have it in your Beetle. So that's a problem. It's a big problem.
I actually had a Volkswagen, a 71 Super Beetle that had a good heater in it. I don't know how good it'd been in Vermont, but it was actually pretty good in the wintertime.
Well, I'm sure heating your vehicle is a little bit different in Tennessee than they are in Vermont, dude. Like, we get down to like -10 on a regular basis. Like, it's not uncommon for it to be negative something here. So I don't think a VW Bug could really deal with negative temperatures and actually, you could probably get away comfortably with like having a defrosted windshield bundled up in your snow machine gear in the driver's seat and drive your 3-speed freaking Volkswagen through the snow. I'm sure you could do it just fine, but it's all about comfort zones, What's your comfort zone? And my comfort zone is like between 55 and 60 degrees, not, sub-zero and 35 degrees.
Yeah, you make a good point. Those VWs, they go good in snow though. I used to be able to go a lot of places in my VW when it snowed.
Well, it's all about contact patch on your tires, man. Like your contact patch on the road is, the smaller you have, the more traction you have. So like when you have a certain amount of weight and you only have a 4-inch contact patch between the rear tires and the ground, yeah, you're gonna go pretty good. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, like that's a big thing. But the whole, automotive industry has gotten away from that whole idea of like practicalism when it comes to actually designing these cars. So nowadays, like up here, at least, like we were talking earlier, the Ford F-150 truck and the Subaru Legacy wagon is the most registered vehicle in the state of Vermont. Why? Because they're the best two vehicles to get through the snow. No ifs, ands, or buts. But those are the only two to go with. So it's really hit or miss. And, it depends on how much snow you get. You guys got a lot of snow this year, I hear. You guys got a lot of extra weather you don't actually get down in Tennessee, which would really, open the whole, argument of like, what's really viable for a vehicle. You drive a Honda, right, Dan?
Yeah, I don't get it out much in the snow though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, but you don't do it because the Honda, like it's front wheel drive and it doesn't really, react well with snow.
No, it does okay. Granted, I can get somewhere. We have a bridge that's 4x4 to get out in the snow play in.
There you go. So yeah. Awesome, man. And again, tonight is, it is, my last show for a while, and, we'll figure out what happens later. And, I would like to have as many people on that want to come on and talk and, put their viewpoint out there as possible. So the number is 718-717-8296. I would like to hear from anyone out there that either agrees or disagrees, and no scruples, no holds barred, within reason. So let's have a nice dialogue for the next hour and 45 minutes.
I'm still interested in Liza's trip to Mexico. That intrigues me. You've had no language barriers or anything like that?
Oh, I most certainly do. I don't speak Spanish, just a little bit. But I've really lucked out where I've stayed in Mexico City with a fellow who's, there's an organization called Couch Surfers, and these people, they stay all over the world with different people, and when you're, you can be a host or you can stay with others. And when I first heard of it, I thought, oh, that sounds weird, but I ended up being in a very nice place. This guy's a translator and teaches at the university, and is a historian. And there was a young lady from Finland, and 2 people from Russia, and 2 from Argentina. So we ended up going all over the city together and going to the various museums. And it was like a crash course. I got to see everything I wanted to there. And we took local transportation, but of course I never could have done it by myself. But I was really glad to get out of Mexico City. I was there for a week, and there are 25 million people, and there's total smog. Like the sky is covered with kind of a yellowish, slight pink tinge that's just like it's like a huge cushion. And flying out of there, it was like 10 minutes after we left the city where this smog continued, and then all of a sudden the plane just broke through, and it was blue sky and white clouds. And actually, right now I'm in the capital city of the Yucatan, and it's Merida, and it's by the ocean, and it's phenomenal. The people I've met. I took a day trip to Chichen Itza, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world, that huge pyramid, and it's a huge. We walked for miles there. There isn't just one pyramid. There are a lot of Mayan ruins. And that trip from 9 in the morning, like they pick you up at your hotel, and they include lunches and a guide and translator and everything. That whole thing was $55. And it was a day I'll never forget. So I've taken a lot of pictures and videos, and I've met people from so many different countries. A lot of people from the U.S. and Canada have and Germans, and lots of them have moved to Merida. They've bought property here. What I heard on the internet about whether it's possible for people to buy property or not, it's mostly doom and gloom talk. But I've been in some of the homes. Here's another thing: if you buy property here, you own it, and there are places that and if you don't pay your taxes, and the taxes are very, very low, they do not take your house away. So it can sit there for 15 years empty, and it still belongs to the family. But then if you go to sell it, the taxes that have accrued, they apply to the sale of the home. So it seems like it's more secure to buy a home. I don't know. So all these illusions are kind of being shattered. I don't know about the rest of Mexico, but this was my first trip. And I'm so thrilled. And from what I've seen and the people I've met, I think I know that I can be happy here for a while. But then, of course, it's close to Canada, so that's what I'm excited about. And family's already saying that I'll probably see more of them living here than I did living up there. And friends, I'm saying, anyone that wants to come and visit. And for rental apartments in Merida, and there's a million people here, but it's a gorgeous city, and the traffic is it's not chaotic. It's excellent. You can rent an apartment for $150 a month. I saw some of them, and then you can rent. I saw a house last night. It's almost 2,000 square feet and beautiful with rooftop patios, 4 bedrooms, and they run between $400 and $450 a month American. So, yeah, it does cost quite a bit less.
And you can get a gourmet dinner delivered to your house for $5. Is that correct?
Actually, by a Texan chef. Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, and you actually get to own your own property instead of having someone take it away.
They don't. Yeah, so I was shocked to find that out. I really was. And who knows, the politics could change. I think that there are some changes that have happened recently here, like this fall, actually, I think October, the government changed all the requirements for a working visa. They've made it far, far more difficult. So this North American Union was supposed to be, freeing up trade and making things easier for us. In actuality, it's the reverse. So there are a lot of changes like coming down the pike that I think are not going to be good for people. But for right now, kind of people from this American fellow was telling me that moving here, and this is the house I saw last night that was just so gorgeous. He said he feels like he's gone back to the way it was in the 50s and the 60s. So it's like going back in time to a simpler time where people weren't all scrambling and going crazy and the cost being too high. Also, you can be an entrepreneur and start up a business without interference. You don't need to, there aren't a lot of bylaws and people wanting their, piece of the pie. So I don't know.
Well, it's kind of nice, knowing it down there. Like if you don't pay your taxes, like you still owe the taxes, but you still own the land. Around here, if you don't pay your taxes, like you don't even just pay your water bill if you have municipal water. Like they will take your property for $200, like delinquent. They'll take the entire thing and screw you over and do tax sale. And in the end, like you don't own anything in the end but the bill. And then they give you the remainder of what the tax sale was to pay off on your own. And, it's almost makes you want to like move to, central Mexico to like have those rights of property.
Well, and I wouldn't count on it lasting forever, but for now, that's the way it is. Who knows what,
right.
What could be coming down the pike.
It definitely gets interesting when you, especially when the bureaucracy kicks into way effect. It's like, oh, okay, well, you don't own anything and we own you. And like, I'm tired of that. What I would like to think is that we all work for what we have to work for and what we have to show for our work is ours, but that's not the truth. The truth is we work our asses off for absolutely nothing. And in the end, we have nothing. Unless you pay off them, and in the end, if you actually own something, where you think you own something, and you have the note to the property, you're still tied to that other note to the county that owns your property. So it's really horrible. It's takes away from the old property, the life, liberty, and property part of the Constitution here in this country.
I can't disagree with you, Justyn. I think it's bullshit. You never owned anything truly in the United States.
No, you don't. Even if your family's been there for generations, and they've owned the note, and all it takes is one little legalese person out there to convince one person in your family to be like, well, we'll give you this amount of money if you give up your title. And they do that not knowing the full implications of actually giving up your title to your property. Then that puts you back in that system. It makes you a feudal slave. It makes everything difficult, to say the least. So yeah.
I don't know.
So
don't know what to say to that one, Justyn. You're absolutely correct.
It gets deep, it gets real deep when you're thinking about what have we all worked for? What have we all worked for in our lives? And We all think we're working for the same thing, no matter what our views are, no matter what our, like, you know, ideas on the entire world is. We all think we're working towards our own private owned land or private owned industry or business, or when it comes down to it, it's all owned by the government. And we really can't, with the legislation and the business policy that goes along with that corporate policy called business policy, really drags us into that whole viewpoint of, well, we can do whatever we want, but in the end, as long as if we don't pay our, you know, local taxes, like, then we're screwed. It just takes all of our money away, you know, like I've said, money is the root of all evil, and a lot of people have said the same thing. Like, money is the root of all evil. And when it comes right down to it, we can have everything taken away from us. Everything. On some kind of contract that was illegal.
Was it money or is it greed?
It's both.
I think that as a means of exchange,
money begets greed. Like, without money, we wouldn't have greed. If we didn't have a system of, like, this needs to happen to make this happen, then we wouldn't have greed. And money is a facilitator of all of that. What do I know? I'm only 31 and broke.
Things will only get better, Justyn.
I hope so, and I know so. On a certain level, I know so. But right now, I gotta focus on what I need. And if I can't have a place to stay or internet connection, then there's kind of no point of trying to go on the internet and do the show, because if I don't have those things, then I can't do that. I'm not going to go
You gotta live first. You gotta pay your bills first.
That's right. I'm not going to go to an internet cafe and sit there and hope that my $10 gets me through the 2 hours, you know. And there's not too many internet cafes in this area. I have to actually drive 2 hours to the first one. So if I have to drive 2 hours, that's $25 in gas to get there and back. And if I don't have that $25, then I can't do it. So it's all about reality at this point. Like, what's real? What's real that we have to deal with in this world, in this planet that we all live in the same community of? I would like to think that we would all, you know, understand that, like, you know, sometimes shit happens, and we got to work through those situations as it happens.
Absolutely, Justyn. And you got to take care of your personal life first. The radio is secondary, so.
Well, you know, I'd like to be able to, you know, say I can 100% be here every time, but I can't do that now because literally I was, excuse me, you know, to let everyone know on Radio Land is, I was shot in the foot today. I was shot right directly in the foot, metaphorically. I was supposed to get 10 days of, vacation time, and I only got 2, due to, recently, within the last couple days, change, corporate policy where I was working, and now I only get 2 days instead of my 10 days. So my little nest egg to get me through from now until, you know, the next little group of money is gone. So I don't know how my, you know, situation is going to fare. So I don't want to be like, I will be here online, for everyone to listen to or rant at. I can't guarantee that. So I'm not going to, promote the fact that I'm going to be here. I will promote the fact that UCY will. UCY will be here for everyone for as long as it takes. And I really would like to hope, think that, like, you know, we all got our own, we got our back here, and that's going to be awesome. But for right now, my personal situation, I can't say I'm going to be here. So this is my farewell show, and I hope people call in to give me a yay or nay on that, and I will be open to all conversation as long as it's on topic. So yeah, it's just life getting in the way, man. Life always gets in the way of everything. I don't know how to put it like really coherently. Like, life gets in the way of life. Like, life is always there. And, you know, shit hits the fan every now and then, personally or, you know, locally or even globally. But we all got to accept the fact that, like, that's what happens. That's what happens. It's called reality.
That's why getting back to the simplicity of life is so important and rewarding.
True that, Bridget. True that, Bridget. We also have Miss Bridget on with us tonight, everyone. Bridget, say hi to
everybody. I'm serious. I think getting back to the simplicity of everything is the most important life experiences that we'll ever experience. And they're the most rewarding, the most enjoyable.
We all gotta get reattached to the land, man.
Yep.
You know, we gotta get reattached to the land, because the land is where we began. We started with the land, and we become astray from that to, virtual means. And then in the end, it's gonna come back to the land, because that's the cycle. That's how the cycle ends, is back on the land. And it re-begins from the land back to the virtual reality. So we all gotta, live our lives to the fullest that we can in our own little, circles or our own little groups or we're all here for a reason. And even though my show is going to probably be ending tonight for a while, I'll come back eventually. But we gotta remember, we have a really good, system around us. If we have tapped into it or not, we should realize that there is a system of local people around us that give a shit about us. And that's really important, because, when we have a say in our local community, we're actually making a voice for the rest of the community around us. The rest of the country should understand, we're standing up for our own rights. And even if it is a very small scale, because Vermont's a small state, it's only 630,000 people in the entire state. But we have a lot of people that stand up and say, no, that's not what we agree with. And that's what we all have to start understanding. If we just gotta start getting people to disagree with what they actually disagree. Start speaking your mind. Start speaking your mind out there. That's the big thing.
Even one person can make a change.
It's very true. One person can make all the difference. But even 100 people in the same area saying no way, is the same way. We all gotta start thinking locally. And locally and globally at the same time, indirectly, going hey, we're all real people. What happened to the life, liberty, and property, aspect of the Constitution? What happened to that? Where is the life, liberty, and property? You can't exclude any one of those, with the legislation that's going on these days. If you don't have life, then that sucks. And if you don't have property, then you don't have life, then you don't have, you know what I'm saying? It goes really deep.
That's where Mexico's very interesting, because you can actually own property and keep it. That is trippy.
It very is. Like Liza was saying, it's really, it blew my mind when she said, you own the property no matter what. And if there's taxes, it goes to the next person that buys the property, which is probably how it should have been to begin with.
Right. That's what I was thinking. It should be that way.
Dan, what do you think?
I think I want to move to Mexico.
He's already planning. He's jotting down stuff. He's like, I'm moving next year.
Are you on Google right now looking for apartments? Because that ain't cool, man.
No, it sounds like a pretty nice place to retire to.
Yeah.
Well, if you just look up Merida, there's enough information. It just shows you the city, and it's hard to believe that. Well, I guess a lot of places like this exist around the world, but this is the one that's closest to home, and it's a 4-hour flight. Yeah. So 4 hours on the plane and I'm home. That's not too bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Is that from Cozumel? Where are you flying out?
From Cancun.
Oh, Cancun, excuse me. Cancun? Yeah, you can get some if you book in advance, 4 months in advance, I know you can get some pretty good deals on flights to Cancun from about anywhere.
I have the feeling that you guys are I'll see you down here. More likely than me going down to the U.S. to visit you. Because when you're driving, think about the gas. For me to drive from here across Canada, we're talking like $600 one way just for gas. That's not including hotels and food and everything else. So everything's relative. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the same way with like driving to Vegas or something like that. It's going to cost you more gas to drive with the fly out there.
Well, like, you know, and where you're at in Mexico, Liza, is pretty mellow from what I hear compared to like Mexico City or the border. Like, you're pretty much in a nice little mellow area where people just are going along to get along and living their lives, and they understand what's going on in the mainstream media. Like, they see it for the hand that's being dealt to them.
They do. The newspaper is one of I can read the language because I speak French and a lot of the words are similar, and I've studied Latin, so the root words are the same. This is so funny that the one that had Obama had a nasty picture of his face on it, and it was saying he's nothing but a liar, a liar, a liar. And I'm going, woohoo, I'm in the right place.
Well, it also that article also mentioned, the North American Union as it was a real place, and they haven't told U.S. or Canada yet that, the North American Union is still tentative.
The three amigos. And
but
it has
down there, they know like that's the way it's rolling right now. We're rolling the next union.
Yeah. And then the cartels, they just arrested this fellow who's one of the top dogs, but I think that's all a behind the scenes CIA thing. It's not the way, it's not like, they caught a bad guy. No, there's going to be 10 that'll take his place, so there's no difference.
Guzman, is that who it was?
El Chapo?
Yeah.
El Chapo done arresto.
On the run for 13 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure he was arrested, but I'm sure he's gonna plea deal his way out of everything, disappeared. No one will ever hear about him again. He'll live in a nice little island paradise for a long time, and
well, he'll probably go to Russia.
like Snowden, yeah.
Yeah.
Snow job. Yeah, I don't trust that.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Justyn? I don't know whether to believe Snowden or it's a snow job.
I don't mainly because, he was really big in the mainstream media. And that's not a real good point to make, but like when it comes to like people making a stink when it comes to the situation at hand for everyone else, they go to a different country and then all of a sudden everyone listens to them. No, that's not true. How many people like left this country and started talking about 9/11 and no one gave a shit? Like the same thing. Like the difference is Snowden was talking about something like that really is kind of shadowy. It's kind of like, well, the shadow government, the shadow NSA is listening to all of us. But he went to a country that we're always at odds with to say these things, and his counterpart out of the Europe that went to like Africa or went to Argentina or something to like speak his mind. Like it gets to the point to where you're like, I don't know if I can trust this dude. Like I think it's all a plant. I really do. I think it's a plant to get people to start saying or doing things. It's a trigger object. He's like triggering everyone to start saying, we need to change and we need to do this and do that, and it's gonna like trigger bad things. Is what I get out of the whole thing. I don't trust Snow Job, man. I don't trust him.
Yeah, it seems a bit convenient, doesn't it?
It does, exactly. Convenient is the word.
And he's really not letting out anything we didn't know already. I don't think.
Well, we in the community that we're in, and like the open community of like ideas. And being patriots of this country, like, yeah, he's speaking the stuff that we already know and we've been saying for years. Now, the problem I have with it is like he went into the mainstream and decided that he was gonna like educate the rest of us, and it's really tentative. Like it makes me wonder, like what's his motivation? Like where is he being paid? Why is he in Russia? Why does he have this temporary asylum, which is gonna be coming up here pretty soon to be nil, and have to go somewhere else? Like it's really almost like, is this a plant? Is this a staged? Is this a problem? Or should we focus on it, or should we not focus on it? Like, that's the thing I'm coming to, you know.
Yeah, he had a nice job in Hawaii with a nice house and a nice girlfriend. And he left all that to expose the NSA.
That doesn't sound like anyone I know of my age group, and he's in my age group. Now, in my age group, there's got to be a greener pasture on the end. You know, everyone I know of my age group, like, no matter what they're doing, there has to be greener pastures. So what's his greener pasture? That's my real question with Snowden. It's like, where is he benefiting? Like, where's his little trophy? Where's his awesomeness? You know, where does it come into play? Because there's gotta be something. He's 30 or 32. Like, he's in my age group. Like, what is his goal? What's he looking for? It's gotta be personal, because that's how we work. We work personal. Like, how can we personally benefit from the information being dealt right now? So I don't trust it. Moral of the story is, I don't trust Snowden, man. I don't trust him.
He makes for a good interview. I've seen a couple of his interviews before. He does make for a good interview.
Well, that right there is like, you know, that shows that, like, you know, if he makes for a good interview, then he most likely has been trained on that interview, and or like MK Ultra to say the certain things. You know,
He's sellable.
That's right. He sells a point. He's clean cut. He's shaven. You know, he was in a high paying job. Like, I don't trust the dude because of all those aspects. Like, a real whistleblower I would get behind has, like, screwed up frickin' Nick Nolte hair out of a frickin' rehab. And, you know, not shaven. You know, looked like he's been beaten to death for the last 3 months in some kind of torture center to try to get some, like, information out of him. Like, those are the people I would trust over a clean shaven, clean cut, you know, in a nice, comfy situation person. Like, I would trust Nick Nolte on drugs before I would trust Edward Snowden. It's just my viewpoint. Of course, I come from the middle of nowhere, northeast, you know, so I deal with unkempt hair, truth-speaking people all the time, but that's what I'd rather, I trust them more because they're coming from a realistic point of view.
Are they friendly, though, was the question.
Right. That's right. Like, are they friendly? I don't know. I do not know. And I play everything by ear, man. This whole show was done by ear. Like, we just played it by ear. So whatever I hear, whatever I see, whatever comes my way, I have to sit here and think about it on my own and, like, give my own little opinion on what I think what's going on. And what I do think is going on with Snowden is I think Snowden is out there to trigger something to justify DHS having their little, you know, altercation with the American people. I think Snowden was out there to, like, let the world know that the NSA has, you know, overstepped their bounds. And by pushing certain buttons and saying certain little trigger words that he does on his interviews has initiated a certain amount of that. Now, my question is where's his main funding, or where's his main, you know, ideals coming from? Are they coming from a patriotic U.S.-based, like, we are the people, for the people, by the people government? Or is he out there being funded by Putin, you know, just trying to push the quasi New World Order agenda / the Cold War agenda against us? Like, I don't know. But what I do know is the murky waters of Snowden make me, like, stay away from him. But what he says is true to a certain extent, but I'm not gonna hold him as a frickin' messiah of, like, what's coming up next.
There's too many questionable actions on his part. You know, I don't know. It's almost unbelievable, this story.
Has there been any? I don't follow news at all, but has there been any news on him recently at all? Like, when's the last we heard something definitive from him?
Not that I've heard.
Yeah.
not lately. I don't think.
Well, with the whole Olympics being done in Sochi,
Right.
all that stuff, like there's
That's all the news.
When there's something important in the news, like everything else gets flooded out. You know, that happens all the time. So he may be saying stuff, he may not be saying stuff. We don't know because we don't get that. We don't get the message. We don't get the memo.
Yeah, sort of like Fukushima.
Exactly, exactly. Like there's things going on over there that we don't know, and no one's letting us all know. Like the information is cyclical. Like it's in this cycle of like infinite loop of like, well, we're gonna keep regurgitating a different way the same news over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to the point to where we don't really know what's going on, and that's a real big problem we have in this country, in this world. Is like the news is being regurgitated and recycled and reworded, so like it seems like new news, but it's not. And
we have news, and then you have reality TV. Come on, isn't that more real than news?
That's what I hear.
Oh yeah, that's real, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, it would be called reality TV.
Yeah.
I think there's an expert looming around somewhere on that reality TV stuff. I'm not sure.
We'll find out. Maybe they'll call in. I'm waiting for the host of Survivor to come on.
There you go. That'll be entertaining.
So
you know, I actually watched the first Survivor series and sort of like couldn't wait to see who got eliminated the next week and all that crap. And I got drawn into that, and it was pretty obvious who was going to win. The gay guy was going to win. Everything was slanted his way.
You think that was affirmative action right there for a different, sexuality group? I'm not against like people like having groups. Like I don't mind people having like their own little groups of like colored people or like speaking people or like religious people. That's fine. I don't care. Like, don't push it on the rest of us. Like that was the whole point of this country. We're supposed to be free. We're supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And when it comes down to it, like, it's freedom, life, liberty, and property. Like, that was it. And we've come down to like bickering over bullshit. Bullshit. We bicker over the shit that has nothing to do with the rest of us and our own personal lives. And like, that's what gets me.
Or even bettering ourselves.
Well, when it comes to bettering ourselves, like, really, in my opinion, like, I don't care if you decide you want to sit there and eat, cheeseburgers from one of these fast food places all the time. Like, whatever. Like, don't tell me, like, they're nutritious and, like, they're good for you, and I should do the same thing. I don't need you to tell me that. I got my own brain between my ears, my gray matter, my oatmeal, if you want to talk to Bill Cooper, my own oatmeal between my ears to make my own decision. And I've really come to terms in the last 6 months of doing this show, roughly 6 months, 5.5 months, saying like, we all have our own lives. And we all gotta start thinking about our own lives. We think too much on the macro level, not enough on the micro level. The micro level is our individual selves. The macro level is our society. Now, when it comes to thinking about what's important to us, we gotta start thinking about ourselves and where we are comfortable in this situation.
Got to take care of yourself first. In other words, that's what you're trying to say, I think.
That's right. That's right. Take care of your own shit. If everyone take care of their own shit, then we wouldn't have this problem.
We wouldn't have any problems, Arlie. That's the way life is, though. How many people we got on the dole now for our invisible EBT card and invisible soup lines?
Enough, dude. We have well, in Vermont terms, a shit ton, which is 1,000 shitloads. Yeah, we have a shit ton of people, like, on the government dole for feeding themselves, and there's a lot of them that will never, ever think about, like, doing something for themselves, by themselves, period. Because it's all been handed to them.
It's been generational. generational.
Exactly. We're at the generational level. Exactly. We're already at the generational level of being on the government dole. So
that's really sad.
Well, that's just the way it is.
It's a fact of life. The honest taxpayer people have to pay for these other people. How long is that going to last? You know, it can't last forever.
Well, it can't, but it might. You know, we have all these, you know, initiatives in hand when it comes to feeding the poor and printing up money for the rich. Like, once these programs cease to exist, then we can actually start moving forward as a society, like where we can take care of ourselves. Like I know for a fact that we have enough people in this society that like are actually like, you know, compassionate towards the lifestyle or the anything of other people, to the point to where like, well, if you need certain things, we will actually help you to, you know, provide those things, be it heat, fuel, home, food, whatever. But when it's dictated from above, that's where the problem happens. Like it's kind of like teenager syndrome. When a teenager is told they have to do something, what do? They don't do it. They're like, screw you. Don't tell me what I can and can't do.
They rebel.
Exactly. And I would like to think, and I'm pretty confident in my area, that if it comes down to like, you know, no one can eat or no one can whatever, like we'll all come together. I know we will in this area come together to help our fellow man, because it's all we have here. When it comes down to it, all we have is human power, and that's all they have too, is human power. And it depends on which side of the fence you stand on. Do you stand with them or do you stand with the regular people? And where I live, which is awesome, we're all blue-collar people. Like, we make the machine go forward. So if the machine bites us in the ass, then we will stand up as a people and say, no more machine.
Right. We need more people like that all across the United States.
It's a lot more difficult when you got states bigger than ours. We have like one of the smallest states when it comes to population. So,
you know, that comes to mind, that letter that Michael was spreading earlier about the Connecticut gun owners. They sent them those letters to register their AR-15s and magazines and all that stuff, high capacity magazines. How are they going to enforce that? And another question is, where do they get the list of the people that have those firearms? They go to all the FFLs in the state and determine who own those firearms? Because there's not supposed to be a national registry of firearms, even though you call in a 4473 form when you purchase a firearm from the FFL. The only true national registry is the NFA registry of machine guns and suppressors, etc. So I'm really curious about where they got the list of names to send those people the letters to tell them they must register their firearms or they're felons.
I know what you mean, Dan. Like, they have to they really have to go in depth and like cross some kind of barrier where like they're not allowed to go to ask the actual firearms dealers, who did you sell to? And like that promotes that right there is the state's right thing. Now, we do have a phone call, and this ought to be interesting. We have Mark on air. How's it going, Mark?
It's going just fine, Justyn. If I can just go back to what you all were talking about just moments ago. I think it's something about reality TV, if I'm not mistaken. You know, don't get me wrong. I mean, reality TV is okay, but there's just certain reality TV shows I'm just so tired of. I know one of them is, Big Brother. And I'm not gonna say nothing bad about the show. It's just that I'm just getting so tired of Big Brother. I know Survivor is one of them. And as far as the real world goes, I'm getting tired of that show too. I mean, all three of these shows, I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, I think all three of them are nothing but a joke.
Right. Okay. I understand, dude. Like, they are a joke. It's a distraction. All right, Mark. And, I'm glad you called in about that, because it is a distraction. Like, reality TV shows are distractions from reality. Reality TV show means distraction from reality. Now, what we all gotta focus on is what's real in our area. Now, what I want to, like, what I like to bring into my show when I, do it frequently, which is not too much more often, is, what's real. So what's real with you, Mark? Like, I know that these reality TV shows, like, affect you directly. Now, what are you gonna do about it?
Well, the only thing that I can say that, and I wish this could have happened, that, I wish I could have just, like, taken all these, shows off of TV for good, because I'm just tired of looking at them. I mean, I'm tired of seeing people, bickering back and forth, whole bunch of raving and ranting, people fighting, cussing one another out, and it's just too much for me to watch on national TV.
Well, the point is to freaking distract people, get them thinking about all the not important parts of the story. Like, reality TV shows are out there to A, entertain us, and B, like, put our brains in some other freaking thinking of, like, oh, well, these shows are important because they're on TV, like, nightly, and, like, these aren't it's not actually reality. That's the thing. Like, it's not actual reality.
Who cares? Why do you watch those things, Mark? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, like, like, I don't have TV. I haven't had TV for years, man. Like, my whole life is, pretty much non-TV based. Like, I do have a few shows that I would like to, tap into every now and then on YouTube to, like, disconnect. But the people that watch these reality, like Survivor or like, that Donald Trump show or whatever the hell it is, I don't even know. I don't know, dude. I don't watch TV that often. But when I do, it's all stupid, man. Like 16 and pregnant. Like, all that stunt has made these 16-year-olds think it's okay to be pregnant. That's really what that it says, and it's about the status of, like, society.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's just that, I think I was Dan that had asked me about, why do I watch it, I think.
Yeah. Why do you watch those things?
I mean, well, see, the main reason why like, this is what it is with me. I don't watch shows just to be watching. I try to watch the show to try to get some kind of an understanding to what is going on. But it's just that, I still can't seem to get my finger on, like, what is actually going on, because everything is just, it's so confusing for me to even figure out what's going on, because everything is happening so fast. Just like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Real World Explosion.
No.
And this is what was so silly about this concept that, I don't even know if I can say if it was MTV or whomever came up with this stupid little this conception. Okay, having exes on national TV, I mean, like, okay, I mean, we all just learned that some of the people on that show had, ex-girlfriends and, stuff like that. Okay, I get it. I mean, but why the Real World Explosion? This could have been something different than the Real World Explosion. Give me a break.
Well, okay, here you go. It's all a distraction, dude. That's the point. I think that's the point you're missing. It's all a distraction. Like, reality TV, no matter what channel it's on, no matter what it's about distraction, about actual reality. Reality TV means you're not paying attention to your reality. Period. That's the point of reality TV. So, like, I stay away from it. Period. As real as I get when it comes to reality TV, it's Survivor Man, because he actually talks about reality when you live out in the middle of the woods with, like, a knife and, like, that's it. Like, that's how to do it. And when it comes right down to it, like, you can't focus on these freaking networks. Like, stay away from the networks. That's all you gotta do. Stay away from the networks, man.
Yeah, and I agree. Well, see, just like, and I'm going to take you back to another reality show I just got finished mentioning a segment, which was Big Brother. Now, I forgot which season it was, but it was one of the people from Survivor that was on Big Brother. I think it was what's his name, Russell, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
Don't know the names, dude. Talking about the crowd.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV, Mark. You gotta understand.
On this network that watch TV.
But I have a question for you, Mark. Because periodically I will like check out like MTV or something, you know, rarely, but I'll check it out just to see, you know, what's out there in the mainstream. What are people actually watching nowadays? How often do you watch reality TV?
No, I don't watch it all the time. I mean, I watch it sometimes.
Well, okay, well, give us an idea, like how many hours a week? Do you watch 1 hour a week, 5 hours a week, 2 hours a week, 10 hours a week? Come on, what's not often? Not often for me. It's like saying like I'm a crackhead, but I don't smoke crack often, but I do it 20 times a day.
Right.
Like how what's often for you, dude? Seriously. Not to be disrespectful or nothing. I'm just saying, like, what's often?
Like 5 hours
a week.
Yeah.
I think that's better than a day. I'll give you that. That's way over my quota, dude. Way over my quota. Like, when it comes to reality TV, like, it's all out there to distract. It's all distractionary tactics to like get us away from paying attention to what's actually going on, man. I think you gotta stay away from the frickin' reality TV. Just stay away from it, dude. We don't care. No one gives, in the grand scheme of things, dude, no one gives two shits about what happened to Snooki last week. Really. The only thing that people care about Snooki is the fact she's on TV. Whoop-de-doo. And like, it's not conducive to like, you know, moving forward and what we're trying to do here. We're trying to wake people up. We're trying to get people to think for themselves. And reality TV is a good outlet as long as you know it's an outlet. If you don't know it's an outlet and you watch it to do whatever or like have some kind of commentary on it, which is fine and dandy, but if your commentary is about how it's not a distraction, then you're part of the problem, man.
Yeah,
like just you know, like distance yourself, like, you know, understand why you watch this videos against, you know, why you don't. Like, you watch the videos for a distraction or you don't. Like, there is no deep meaning on this crap. Like, these people are not out there to like really have a big say on how you live your life. They're out there to distract you from what's actually happening in your life. That's the thing I've been trying to get at. TV, these devices, like your iPhone, your iPad, or, you know, your tablet and your mobile phone for that matter, actually. Like, these are all distractionary things to distract you from your actual real life. And, you know, when it comes right down to it, like, we all gotta live the real world, and the real world on MTV, it's got nothing to do with me.
Gotcha.
They're not there to help improve your life experience or your lifestyle.
Well, they're out there to make you think like you gotta keep up with the Joneses. You gotta have whatever these reality TV people that are famous at the moment, like their 15 minutes of fame say you gotta have these certain shades or these certain clothing that they're wearing on the show, and they're talking about the crap like it's the greatest thing in the whole world when really it's not.
I see it a different way, Justyn. I see it as normalizing deviant behavior.
Well, I don't think we're seeing it completely different, Dana. We're just got different arguments for the same argument.
Probably so, but it does normalize a lot of deviant behavior.
It does definitely normalize. Like, I grew up, you know, I was a victim of the 90s, and, you know, there was the Road Rules and there was all that stuff on MTV, the original, like, you know, reality TV shows. And, you know, I didn't get caught up in it, but I watched a lot of that crap growing up. And, like, there was things on there that I just felt I needed to have. I needed to have a shiny car. I needed to have a mobile phone, because those were big back then. Like, they weren't that popular. It wasn't huge. Like, when I was growing up, like, if you had a cell phone, that meant you had a really awesome job. Like, you had some serious money, and you could afford that $200 a month to be able to make a phone call wherever you were at. You know, that was a big thing. But when it comes down to like where it is now, like it's just distractionary. Like it's distracting us from the point of the story. It's like Joe Dirt said in that movie, Joe Dirt. He said, like, you're focusing on all the wrong parts of the story. Seriously. And the point of the story is that we are here and we're not in this virtual land. That's my take on it.
Have you been to an airport recently, Justyn?
I haven't been to an airport in a couple of years. I flew out to Reno in 2011 or 2012.
It just fascinates me, all the people on their devices with headphones on that don't pay attention to anything about their surroundings. Over 50% of the people on the plane had their iPods or whatever. They were watching a movie or doing something, it was incredible.
Oh, I agree. Like, I was thinking the same thing when I was flying from here to Reno. So he goes and visit my dad and my little sister and everyone, and because she was graduating that year. And, the amount of, mobile devices that were used for seriously, like, not educational purposes was crazy. Like, when I was in the airport, I spent like an hour and a half before my flight boarded. And I was this is funny. I was downloading Jack Blood episodes onto my phone so I had something to listen to on the phone, on the plane ride. So I'm listening to freaking Jack Blood, and everyone else is like playing Angry Birds, like the idea was, like, we had something going on there, like with the whole mobile connection with everything, but it's really devolved into not actually expanding your mind and not putting anything positive in your life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's just where I'm going with this whole society. Like, if we're not putting anything positive in our lives, we're just going along to get along, and we're nodding and we're walking around bumping into each other, and that's not cool. It's not conducive for what we're trying to do here. And we just got another phone call in. We got Mr. Vinny. How Mr. Vinny doing?
Justyn, what's up, bro?
Hey, Vincent, how you doing, buddy?
It's going, bro.
All right. Is that Cracker? That's Dan. That was Dan, right?
Yeah.
We got Dan, we got Listener, we got Mark, and we got Bridget on with us tonight. And
Lisa and Bridget and wait, I missed somebody. Hey, yeah. I'm out here in the desert, y'all.
Well, that's good, dude. That's good, dude.
You made it.
Just gonna let you know, man. Like, we're having a nice little conversation about what's going on in the world today. And tonight's going to be my last show for a little while until I get back on my feet. So if there's anything pertinent you want to say at my show, you say it now, bro. You got 45 minutes or 55 minutes to do that.
Right on. Man, Justyn, dude, I love you, man. You got a great show, man. I really, I ain't listened to it, obviously, tonight, but somebody's beeping in. It's me. Sorry about that, if you heard that.
It's fine.
Whoa.
Like, my own personal life kind of got in the way with money and trying to deal with stuff, so I got to deal with that for a little bit now. And once I get that taken care of, I'll be back full time again. But for
right on.
It's going to be I got to take care of me. You know what I mean?
I understand. This is a great place to be right here on UCY.TV. I love it. We have a diversity, and talking about what's going on in the world, we have such a diversity of people here. I think that any type of information that pertains about what matters. Oh, I'm plugging me. What does matter though? It's covered here, and whether it be in conversation or in topic. And we have a lot of people that. I don't think that there's anything that's not really mattering that we can't find right here that somebody's going to talk about.
Right. Yeah, dude.
I'm going to be. Go ahead, Justyn.
I was yeah, dude. Like, we cover a lot of topics here on UCY, and it's a really great, it's a really great medium that we have to get our viewpoints across, and we all, I'd like to think that we all have a nice little respect for each other, and we can come on here and like debate our viewpoints respectfully. It doesn't
I like the word discuss. I like the word discuss. I don't like the word debate. I don't debate.
Yeah,
I will not debate.
I'm debating with you right now.
Well, I'm a baiter, and I'm a master at it, so.
I think that's debatable.
Okay, you win, Vinny. Tag, you're it.
Hi, Bridget. Thank you for last week. And Dan, I love you, man. You're great. Hey, Chuck's coming on. He's going to host for me tonight. Chuck O'Celli Effect on Saturday nights right before the last cup. I've got some great stories to share tonight, and I hope, Justyn, since this is your last night, you would participate.
Well, I might, dude. I might. You never know. I'm playing it by ear, dude, as I always do. I'm a musician, and when I do shit, I play it by ear because that's the only way to do it. So, at the end of the show, I will let you know, Mr. Vinny, if I'm going to be able to pop in or not, because I can't plan ahead much more than an hour and a half because my life is so up in arms right now. So yeah, I'll be listening, dude. And if I have a point, I will be messaging you like instantly. You will know.
Listen, dude. And for anybody else listening right now, sorry, Bridget.
Benny, what are you doing in the desert? We want to hear about this. Show's about your life, not like we know your show's coming up and you're plugging your show, but we want to hear what's happening in your life right now.
I'm camping and I'm out here. And I think this is a very good thing to do because whether you're poor, broke, and I'll pass on the vernacular, as I am, and just out and about, I'm making myself a little less comfortable in life. And this should be applicable to anybody else in the world because there's always a possibility that, the comforts that you have in life right now will pass and not have that would be to tomorrow. Well, I mean, if like most people, they've got a mortgage and their job supplies this along with all their daily needs. And what happens if it all ended tomorrow? What if you had to be out here and just, be on the ground? So I have some advice coming up for that. As far as possibilities of what you might or might not do.
Hey Vince, you're camping out? Is that correct?
I'm out here, dude. Dan, I'm here in the wilds of Arizona, in Quartzsite, Arizona.
So you got
met some great people.
Are you out in the middle of nowhere?
Well, no, I kind of was, and then I kind of ain't. I've moved camp 3 times already. I got here Tuesday morning at 5 o'clock, right before 5. It was still dark. I set up my camp, and I found out I was in the wrong place, and I was subject to about a $1,500 ticket. So I moved, and I set myself in a spot, and I knew where I was at. It was a place that would accept standing water. And I didn't worry about that too much in the desert here. I think an FYI fact, I think that probably more people drown in the desert than they do die of thirst. And that might sound strange, but, so many people come here that are unfamiliar. They're setting themselves up in a floodplain or in a wash, and flash floods happen without any warning at all. It could rain in the mountains, and you'll never even see it raining, and all of a sudden, you're tumbling with a bunch of rocks rolling downstream and wake up dead.
Yeah, well, the water does not frickin', absorb very well in the desert. I know that. I spent some time out in Reno with my dad and my extended family out there, and water does not absorb out there. Water just accumulates. When it rains, it fucking rains, dude. It's nuts. It just collects everywhere and it's got nowhere to go.
Right, except for down the wash, and that's where most people find it most comfortable. Like where I set my tent.
At the end of that run, at the end of that water run, all you got is a bunch of people freaking, dealing with a whole bunch of water in their area, and everyone else is like, oh, my lawn is doing good.
Yeah. Ain't that something? Well, I did move up just a little bit, maybe about 15, 20 feet from the other spot that if the water does back up, I'm subject to being up in the middle of the rainstorm and packing my stuff just about another 10 or 15 feet out of this possibility of being standing in water. But it's all rocky there, so I'd rather be soft and comfortable right now. Water's soft.
Got a campfire?
Dude, I got my rocket stove I built. I got pictures and videos to follow. I popped into town for just a few minutes this morning, jumped on Facebook and I said a howdy and a thanks to everybody that's posted my timeline. I did announce that I will have a camp report tonight following you, Justyn. I think I'm echoing now.
You're only a little bit, dude. You seem okay. You seem okay. I'm not sure, but you seem okay.
Right on. Well, hey, I'm sitting up here with some friends I've met. My buddy Dave right now. David, we're sitting over here, and Chuck's gonna host a call, and I'm gonna be calling in. Jose will follow up in the second hour. We'll probably run together and just carry on. I hope I have some people that's going to come up and join in to call tonight, live from the desert. But you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's all tentative, Mr. Vinny. It's always good, dude. Do your show and do however you need to do it, man. And much love, bro.
Thanks, brother. Hey, I hate to see you going, man. Hey, thanks, Dan. You're a great guy, man. I appreciate what you're doing here with UCY. You're awesome, dude.
Yeah, Dan's the man. That's where it came from. Dan the man. He's there.
Right.
Always.
Thank you, Bridget. Also. Hey. And, okay, so we got Dan, Bridget, me, you, and there was one other person. Who?
Liza. And Mark.
Liza from Canada. Hey, what's going on, Eddie? I speak Canadian.
I've been trying to jump in there and talk to you. And I was the one that asked you how the camping was, because I love camping.
Oh, it's doing great. I'm loving it out here. It's really windy right now. We've had some serious winds today. I have a canopy that was loaned to me for shade. And actually, it's about in front of my tent right now, so the shade is being cast on me, not on my tent, halfway. But
what's your temperature?
It's great. Say again, Liza.
Well, I was asking what your temperature was. Guess where I am? I'm in Mexico.
Oh, I know. You told me you went there. That's cool.
You got a job here. I'm gonna be moving here in a few months, so I'm excited.
Well, I'll come down and move in with you.
Well, I'll have a good place.
Oh, yeah. The wind's bad. The temperature's great.
That's awesome, Benny.
Yeah,
up next is freaking, Vinny with What Matters Worldwide. If anyone wants to, stay on air and listen to us rant, it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Hey, you guys are all invited back.
And we're all going to show, and we're all going to have radio stations from down there.
There we go.
Hell yeah, huh? Man, we love you, Justyn. I know I do, and I know so many other people do.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man, and you have a good night, man.
Okay, hey, before I jump off, listen, anybody want to call in? Chuck Ocelli from the Ocelli Effect on Saturdays. He's hosting for me tonight, and he'll be bringing callers in, and hey, you guys want to come in? Look, I'm going to start off with the camp report, and we're gonna move along.
Benny.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's still my show.
That's right.
I'm gone, brother. I'm gone.
Benny, you're up next.
You call back in.
Yeah, Mr. Ocelli. It's going to be fucking awesome, and I appreciate you calling in, dude, and we'll be talking in the future. And everyone stay on board for the next show, because Vinny's going to be
okay.
And Vinny's going to be the man, so.
Yeah, he's broadcasting from the desert.
Let me pass this information before I sign off and sign back on. Hey, I'm out here. If y'all want to contact me, my number is 501-253-5256. And send me a text. Call me after tonight, because I'm going to need to hold my battery. I'm going to have to go back and recharge. And matter of fact, Justyn, this is specific to you, is you need to send me your information so that we can stay in contact by phone. Okay.
All right, I'll do that, Vinny. I'll do that, man. No problem.
All right. Love y'all.
All right, later, yo.
Take care, man.
Adios.
Sounds like something Liza should be saying is adios.
Yeah, amigos.
Adios, yo. Adios.
Well, Justin, I got to say, you're the man of the hour.
I will partially agree with that. Only partially. Like, I'm just a regular dude, man. Like that's what I don't. I appreciate everyone in chat and everyone on air. Like, give me praise. I love y'all. And I'm just a regular dude trying to do my own life. Like that's the thing. Is like, that's what I want to get to everyone else out there. Like it's just about your own life. Like let's just talk about it, and we'll work with it, and we'll work forward and move forward with that whole idea of like we all have to live together in this planet. Period. Like that's what I want to get across. That's my whole point.
Hell yeah. Hey, you know what, Dan? I have a question for you. Have you ever seen all these devices that both Samsung and Apple are coming out with? I don't think. Is Dan there?
Yeah. What's the question?
No, I was asking you, have you ever seen all these little crazy devices that both Apple and Samsung came out with?
Oh, the Androids and the iPhones? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. You go in an airport and everybody's got their face stuck in one. It's amazing.
That is so wild. I'm sitting here looking on, cause down with Sprint, I was looking on, Sprint's website. All of a sudden I see a, ad about, the new Galaxy S5. I'm like, what? First it was the Galaxy S4, now all of a sudden the Galaxy S5. I mean, man, this is like seriously insane.
Crazy.
Just the latest toys is all it is.
It's all about the shininess, dude. It's all about the shininess. Like the shiny toy, the next shiny toy is what we gotta sell to everyone. We live in a salesman type, society now. Like we'll sell the next shiny toy to the people that want to buy that toy. And
shiny raccoons is what we call them, Justin. Shiny raccoons.
There you go, yeah, shiny raccoons. Like they're out there. They're out there to frickin', convince people they need to buy these things. Well, really, we don't. We don't need these things to survive. We don't need, I'm gonna be kind of blasphemous right now. We don't need Skype to survive. We don't need these phones to survive. We don't need the internet to survive. We've done this for billions of years beforehand, but no. We now feel the need that we have to have the next shiny device to say like we're okay as people in this world. And I'm against that. I am thoroughly against that. Like I have a Galaxy S3. Like I have a phone that is shiny. But only because I only got the phone so I could go on the network and go in a chat at the same time. Otherwise I don't use the phone.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to know where all these devices that people are discarding like crazy to get the next new one are going. And what kind of minerals, what does it take to produce one of these devices? And it just makes me sad that, this stuff is just piling up in the garbage dumps. And what does it represent? I don't know.
Well, there's a whole strip mining operation that pays that pays for most of the frickin' the platinum and the lithium for the batteries, and that's all the Americanized wars that we got going on right now. Like we're in Afghanistan for not only opium but for lithium. Like we're there for lithium, for the batteries, for these devices that we feel we need to have, be it a tablet, be it a phone, and that's a problem. That's a big problem.
And when we dispose of them, what does this do to the environment? I mean, what's happening? I mean, are we just dumping?
It's destroying the environment in that area. That area where the lithium mines are, they're being strip mined. They're being strip mined. So we have a big stake in Africa showing this huge strip mines for these minerals to further our mobile device needs, which is not right because, you know, you go along with the old, human caused, you know, global warming. Well, no, human caused pollution is a problem. Yeah, but not me and you, not me and Dan, not me and Bridget, not me and Mark, not me and, we're actually like, you know, just getting along to go along in the actual life that we live in. But the life that we live in is fueled by these corporations that strip mine third world countries and ruin whole societies and whole areas to frickin' screw. They just screw everyone. Like it's beyond the point of like who's right and who's wrong. Well, we need to stop and like reevaluate the entire situation.
This is so distracting. I mean, just like you know how they're coming out with these next generation TVs and stuff like that. I mean, okay, let's just be real here for a second. First off, why in the world do we need next generation TVs? We already have 1080p and all these
we need those next generation TVs, dude, so we can monitor the public, dude. Those next generation TVs have internet and they have, you know, video capabilities to like tell you who's in the room. We need that because of the surveillance frickin' community that's been grown up around us. Like, we need to have that so we can monitor everyone. That's the point of these new TVs. Like, we didn't need to have these TVs because we already had HD. Once we had HD, we had like perfect video and perfect that. Now, what do you need after that? Well, you need to like control the masses by saying, well, we got this newer TV that does internet bullcrap, internet everything, and it's connected to everything at all times, along with your refrigerator and your freezer. Like, that's the thing. It's all about surveillance, dude. It's all about surveillance, Mark.
Yeah,
seriously.
I mean,
it's not about what the society really needs. It's about what the dictators want against us.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like on your LG TV show, your smart ass, and on Samsung you have what do they call it? Smart TV, I think they call it, something like that. I mean, you know, hey, I mean, I have nothing against it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, it's just like, in a way, like, it's like, I don't even know how to really explain it. It's like you're jumping ahead of everything. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard to, like, for, like, you know, other people to, you know, keep up with technology these days, you know.
Forget TV is the first step, Mark. That's what I would suggest. Just drop TV from your agenda, period.
At least for a few months, and then you can revisit it with a bit different type of mind.
Yeah, I agree.
We haven't had a TV for a couple of years, and it worked out just fine for us.
You can find whatever you want on the internet. You just gotta take it as it's needed versus when you're just sitting there having to watch TV. Because that's just programming yourself.
They don't
it is and it isn't, actually, Bridget. Like, you can watch the regular TV shows, and as long as you know and you understand that these TV shows are out there to like program and give you, you know, certain ideals on certain viewpoints on certain issues, like then if you understand that they're out there to like, you know, plug your brain into something else, like if you understand that, like you can watch these TV shows just fine. There's no issue. Like, you have a brain upon your shoulders to, like, you know, decipher the entire thing. But when
But then you don't even want to watch the show.
Right, yeah. There's that. But, you know, it's to each their own, you know, and when it comes right down to it, like, I would like to think that we all have a certain amount of you know, brain power to decipher what's important to ourselves. And what's important to me right now is not important to you, but it is. But
you gotta live. That's
gotta live first, you know. So when it comes right down to it, let's just all be real, you know.
You gotta live, and that's pretty cool. Vincent's out in the desert right now, roughing it. Bridget and I love to do that on the weekends and stuff. So, but it's a little different. We got a place to come back to. What if you didn't have a place to come back to? What if the power went out?
Yeah.
I think about that often. What if all of a sudden the power went out?
Yeah,
This place would be crazy in 48 hours.
A lot of places, if the power, the ultimate SHTF situation, is like no power. Now, when it comes down to it, like if there's no power, then there's no cooling towers, there is no nothing for the nuclear power plants around us. And like they surround us, like every person in this country is surrounded by at least two. At least two. I am right here and I live in the middle of nowhere. And I have 2 nuclear power plants that are pretty much iffy. And, when it comes down to it, like, just, I'd love to say just take care of your own, but when it comes down to it, like, there isn't that. Like, there's all of us. Like, we're all one person in this, situation. And it just gets more and more deep as the situation gets more and more deep. Now, speaking of deep, I do have Mr. Michael just on air with us. Mr. Michael from Mr. Primer Time to go along with Mr. Dan. How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing, Justin? What's up, Dan?
Hey, Michael.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Bridget.
Hey, man, I'm just doing, it's been a pretty awesome little farewell show, and I'll come back as soon as I can. But for right now, like, it's gotta be, I gotta take care of my own.
Yeah, life happens, man, and, people gotta, it happens to everybody. And, it's happening to neighbors quicker than it used to happen.
Yeah.
So on another note, how you been, Mike?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. Everybody doing all right here?
I hope so.
I'm doing great.
All right.
What about Gaza?
I'm
I wanna
glad
know
to be
about
part
Gaza.
of the show.
I'd like to hear about that as well. Hey, what's up, Liza?
Hey, I filled everyone in. I don't want to go over it again, but I did kind of give a bird's eye of how I have felt about being here and how I feel about moving back. So it's pretty exciting.
I still would like to talk about Gaza. That just,
yeah, we can talk
that
about
wears
Gaza.
heavy on my heart. Those poor Gazan people, the poor Palestinians over there.
Jim, 8 million person open air prison administered with American funds.
Wow.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about being how do you feel about paying for the oppression of 8 million people? It's because you're paying for it. You're paying for it. You pay income tax. You're paying it. You're paying for it. Your money's going to it.
In
That's
Gaza
right.
alone, Michael? Is that correct?
Wow.
8 million people. Your money that goes to Israel goes to pay for that oppression.
Dang. That's huge.
That's pretty shocking.
8 million people.
Yeah, but do you think people care? Do you think the average person cares if they were told that that's what was happening? Well, what can I do about it? They'd shrug their shoulders.
I care, Liza. I can tell you that. I think it's utterly
I
ridiculous.
do. Yeah.
Well, I find
it
it interesting that we're the United States. We're the nation that always stood up for the underdog in everything.
Except for ourselves. Except for ourselves, Mike, you're right. Like, except for ourselves, man. Like, when it comes right down to it, we're fucking screwed because the underdog has not been viewed as an underdog in this country.
802, what do you got to say there?
Yeah, we got Mr. James on air. Mr. James, how you doing, buddy?
Hang on.
All right. we'll give him a minute. But when it comes right down to it, like, we're supposed to be the country that, like,
stands up for right and wrong.
Right, exactly. We stand up for right and wrong. We open our arms to the underdog. When it comes down to it,
Because you're poor, you're tired, you're downtrodden, those yearning to be free, unless they're Palestinians or pissing off the Israelis.
All right. Well, Mike, you've seen Lethal Weapon 3 or Lethal Weapon 4, right? The last Lethal Weapon movie. And was that
the one with the South Africans?
That was the one with the Chinese people.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and in the beginning of that movie, Murtaugh said to this cop that was there during the raid of the people moving operation. He said, Murtaugh said to this guy, what happened to, like, bring me your downtrodden, you're hungry and you're afraid? And he said, and the cop said to the guy, he said, no vacancy. And
that is sad.
That's a popular meme or a popular meme, but no vacancy is actually kind of a misnomer, considering we have a Congress and a Senate that allows wide open immigration. And I'll tell you what, the wide open and unfettered immigration is a double-edged sword, because number one, it's slavery for the people that are coming across the border. It's pure unadulterated slavery. I mean, you pay somebody to work their ass off all day for $8 an hour, maybe $10 an hour, and that's all they got, and then they got to go back and feed a family. It's more expensive to keep slaves.
Yeah.
And then the other side of this sword is after these people come across and are made into slaves, well then there goes the working class Americans' jobs, because how do you compete with slave labor? You can't.
Exactly. First it was they were going to pick the fruits for us or whatever in California, because no white people would do it or whatever.
Well, do the jobs that Americans don't want to do.
Yeah, do the job.
You know what?
Now they do everything.
There's a famous saying from the movie Up in Smoke. God damn it, Anthony! What am I gonna do to get you to do anything in this world? And he's like, smoke weed, and that's about it. And like, I'm not against that. What I am against is the fact that we don't actually give two shits about each other, man. We really don't. Like, we're at the point to where, like, we're so divided as a populace that, like, we can't even agree on anything, man. Period. We can't even agree we're being screwed. We can't agree on nothing, man. So, I hope Mr. James here has, got something to say, cause I know he called in for a reason.
I don't know. You're right. It's more along the lines of, like we've mentioned before, that you gotta just do for you and your neighbors and your community, because no one else is going to do for you. So I don't know. I'm sorry I'm late to the conversation. I was in transit. So I don't know. Carry on without me. I don't have much else to say at this point.
It's cool, dude. Like, you called in, like, the point is, like, we're all here, and we all understand, like, everyone on this call and everyone in the chat understands that we're all here for a reason. We may not be all here for the same exact reason, but the reason, in the basis of its reasoning is we're being lied to, for one, and the entire, like, situation is being manipulated around us through politics. And we can't have that. Like, we can't have that. Like, you can't dictate what's gonna happen on this side of the country. Like, look at you, Michael, and you're in frickin' Texas. Dan, you're in Tennessee. And you can't dictate what's gonna happen in these other frickin' states compared to what's gonna happen.
And what works in other states doesn't necessarily work in my state. And what works in my state doesn't work in your state.
Exactly. My point is, like, look at Connecticut. Like, they're gonna try to frickin' screw everyone over that didn't register their assault weapons. I'm doing that with the air quotes. No one can see me. But, like,
It'll never happen.
Personal defense weapons. The difference between a personal defense weapon and an assault weapon is a fine line. Like,
I'll tell you exactly what the line between a personal defense weapon and an assault weapon is whether or not a cop is holding it. That's what the difference is. If the media gets it and you've got an AR-15, it's crazy mountain man with an assault rifle. If it's a cop, it's a police officer dutifully armed with a defensive weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you really think that they're going to go around and try to confiscate people's, quote, assault rifles?
Well, that would be the last straw, dude.
Let them try. Who are they going to get to do it?
That would be the last straw. Like, when it comes down to what's going to happen next, that's going to be the last straw. As you come around and you start collecting weapons, I dare you.
The only way I can see them doing that, seriously, is to either bring in foreign mercenaries or to release prisoners.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Period. That letter around earlier, Michael, I thought, giving them one last chance to sign up their assault weapons, so to speak, and their magazines. What a bunch of crap that is. People are still not.
Does anybody recall how the American Revolution started? Two little cities, Lexington and Concord. What happened? The British went and did the exact same thing. They had to confiscate the assault rifles for the safety of the children. Shot heard around the world was fired that day. We could be getting ready for that one again.
Well, the thing is, Mike, is like, we have such a vast, large area of land that is the United States of America, to where, like, we all can't agree, state to state, even person to person. So, like, I personally just think, like, we got to wait it out. We have to sit here and wait out the entire problem, because there is no in between. Like, the in between is gone at this point. It never happened. So we have to sit here, like the law-abiding citizens that we are, sitting here under our own rights and wait for the fit to hit the shan, and just be here and on guard to protect our neighbors. And as long as we have the neighbors on our board, as James was gonna say, like, me, you, like, we all have this, we all agree, and we're all, like, on.
You throw a monkey wrench into this real quick. You gotta have your neighbors on board. What's gonna happen when your neighbor is hungry and he knows that you have a shotgun in your house and turn in your neighbor's gun and get yourself an extra 10 food coupons this week. Another half serving of rations for your family this week.
Well, I would invite you to come to my state, because when it comes to half days of, rations and, like, all that crap, like, when it comes right down to it, like, we can feed ourselves just fine here. Individually.
For a while.
Well, for a while, yes. Yes, for a while. But
they killed 12 million people in the Ukraine in the span of about 2 years.
Yeah,
hunger is probably the next best weapon to, like, thermonuclear smart bombs.
We're all under control. We're all under control, man. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
And they did that in Ireland. The British caused, this entire famine. This is history. It happens all over the place. It's a nice little political ploy.
Well, I would like to think that I would like to think that us in the smaller communities, like, not cities, like, because the cities are screwed. Like, there's no way around being screwed in the city. If you live in NYC, LA, Miami, Tampa, even Indianapolis, any of these larger cities, like, you're screwed. You're screwed. Like, when the fit hits the shan, like, you got nowhere to go. And if you do, like, you better get there quick. But there is a majority of the population of us that live in the middle of nowhere. And living in the middle of nowhere has its bonuses and its defects. We don't get all the deliveries, the delivery awesomeness of, like, we order a pizza, we'll show up. No, it doesn't always happen here. But we do have the idea of, like, when it comes down to it, I know my neighbors around me, like, my neighbors around me right now, which is my parents for one, and, I'm not saying I live in my parents' basement, but I live near my parents because they got problems. I'm here. And, my neighbors that live actually, like, adjacent to me on both sides, like, we all understand, like, when it comes down to it, like, we all got to work together to make sure, like, that we can all live. And outside of the cities, it's possible, but inside the cities, we're not. It's not. There's no way. I lived in the city for plenty of years. I lived in LA for like a year and a half and a couple other little frickin' areas where when it comes down to it, like, it's to each their own, and I'm gonna screw you over as much as possible to get my own way. And we need to, like, get away from that whole viewpoint of these cities being like the center of the entire attention, because the cities are where it's gonna be the worst. And the best is going to be out in the middle of nowhere. And I like being in the middle of nowhere myself.
Same here, Justin. Same here.
Me too. The further out you get, the better it is.
Yeah, if the, what'd you call it? The hit hits the fan or whatever?
The fit hits the shan, yes. It's a comment from the movie, Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater. It's a really great movie with this college kid, opens up a radio station. He doesn't open it. He does it pirate style and, like, just says, like, the truth. Like, we're screwed. But, when the fit hits the shan, it's just us.
If the fit hits the shan, that's a good question.
No, it's not if, it's when, dude. We're working on a clock now. We're not working on a hypothetical. We're working on a clock now. It's all clock.
I've been hearing this for 30 years, though, Justin.
I know what you mean. I've been thinking about that whole, like, you know, Bill Cooper's been saying this since the 80s, and a lot of other hosts have been saying everything for, like, years and years and years and years. But there is a point to where it actually comes to the end. And when it comes down to it, we're actually in the actual, in my viewpoint, we're actually in the final death throes of, like, what's gonna happen now and what's gonna happen next. Like, we're in that little middle ground where, like, we don't
see it that way.
What's going on.
I see it that way.
That's called the final tipping point.
Yeah, tipping point.
So.
The tipping point is near, I believe. You know?
So,
I do too.
How much
further can it be pushed? How much further can it be pushed?
Exactly. How much further do we need to go before, like, we all realize? And not to degrade anything you're saying, Mike, like, I want you to continue. But, like, when it comes down to it, like, I think that a lot of us in general, like, are starting to feel like either you gotta hide on your own and take care of your own, or, you know, deal with the consequences.
We are a fraction of a percent of a minority in our little circle of influence right here. It's got to get ugly for people out there for us to have numbers. And the numbers don't have to be great. They just have to be dedicated people.
3% did it the first time around. Is that correct? Something like that?
Yeah,
something like that, Dan. I believe it was 3%.
And it doesn't take much, but it does take a whole bunch of people realizing that, like, you know, we got to stand up, no matter how they go about it. Like, you know, no matter what the vehicle of change may be, but we got to stand there and be like, hey, man, we're done. Like, you know, we've worked our asses off for this entire system. We believed in the system for so many decades. You know, between all of us on air, like, we believed in the system for decades. And
the future is called Your Vehicle for Change has arrived, and it's a Dodge Omni.
It's got 2 plug wires off, and we're screwed, man. Exactly. What do you think, James?
I don't know. I don't have much to say because it's all been said. You know, we know where we're at. We all have our personal viewpoint, and it's just a matter of, I think, like you said, it's kind of a waiting game. Like,
well, yeah, we're
what happened today.
Waiting. Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, I don't know. I wake up every day wondering.
That's right. Well, you know what, James? It's all shallow and pedantic. It's all shallow and pedantic. We're sitting here by ourselves, and we're waiting for the last shoe to drop. Now, I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it, but you know what? It's the most honorable that I can think of right now. We're just doing that we need to do for our families and our friends, and I like to think everyone on this call and everyone in the chat, all friends, we're all friends here. We're just trying to figure out what the next move is. And
the next move is to prepare yourself for what's coming, since we can't change it. That's the next move.
That's it, right there.
I'll tell you what, if you're listening to us, put $40 away and go buy $40 worth of Top Ramen, canned food, and bottled water. Yeah, it's not perfect, but whatever. It beats being starving. It beats a fat rat sandwich.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. You do that every week as long as you can until it does.
And I've already done the Top Ramen, Mike, so, like, yeah, I'm on board. I got the canned food, I got the dried food, I got the frickin' I can probably do for a month and a half, and I'm gonna keep doing that because that's the only way to figure it out, because we
How
don't
many
want
other people can do that? That's really, you know,
I'm not doing
whether you can do it or not is one.
I'm not doing anything special, dude. Like, I'm just going to the store and buying.
You're just doing normal stuff. You're just living your life regular, the way you always do. How many people's lives have been changed by the convenience that we're seeing now, where they don't have anything but a 6-pack of beer and 14 different kinds of mustard, salad dressing, and ketchup in the refrigerator.
Save for condiments out there.
Hey, the secret is when you go to the store to buy anything, even if it's something little, you just grab a bag of beans or something on the side, throw it on your thing, and buy it. It adds up.
Case of Top Ramen, which is what, 20 packages, that comes out to be about $5.
Yeah, well, the ones I bought down here, they're $2.99 for a case of ramen right now. $2.99.
You guys are living in bargain ramen land.
Yep.
It keeps for forever.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Freeze-dried shit works great.
But that ramen stuff, those chemicals you add to the ramen noodles is not good for you. So
I wouldn't. I'd chuck them.
Mix some tomato paste.
You know what? A bag of rice is far better than ramen. I mean, ramen, it'll keep you going for a bit. That's if things are going to change in a hurry. They're going to get better in a hurry.
A bag of ramen is a bit hard to divide. You can trade off a package of ramen to somebody. Straight up.
Yeah, it's all individualized package. So like,
I'll tell you what, a starving man will dig a ditch all day for 2 packages of ramen.
Probably, yeah, most definitely.
Not joking, man. In jail, what's money in jail?
It's
food. Top ramen
and cigarettes, man.
No, you can't smoke in jail anymore.
No more cigarettes in jail.
No, you can't smoke, but it's all candy. Candy's high dollar in jail. Like sweets. Sweets is, that's what that is.
Cell phones? What about cell phones?
Those are big in jail now too.
It's amazing. Somebody could keister one of those things into the jail. It amazes me.
That's what's keeping me off the jail cigarettes. I don't want any keistered cigarettes, thanks.
I don't know about you, dude. I hear it tastes like shit.
I like menthols, thank you.
Oh, you guys are bad.
Yeah, no shooting cigarettes.
I want to say real quick, y'all, we got about 9 minutes left, 10 to 9 minutes left on the show. If anyone wants to call in and put their last 2 cents in while I'm here right now, I may be back in the future, but for right now, 717-8296 if you want to call in. And we got 10 minutes, and we got Mike and Dan and Liza and James and Bridget, and it's going to be a good last 10 minutes. If anyone's got anything to say, or just come in and be like, thanks. Awesome. I
want to say thank you, Justyn. Thank you for being there. Bridget and I have enjoyed listening to your show,
very much.
Cooking dinner and stuff. We put your show on and listen to it, and it's been very enjoyable. The last few weeks, it seems like it's been the best part of your show, and now you're quitting on us.
Hey, well,
that's the way life goes. So
I gotta feed myself, and when it comes to
that's correct.
I appreciate.
I'm gonna say go ahead. Sorry, Justyn.
Thank you, James, for showing up here. James puts out his own money to drive his ass over here from over the hill and come, hang out on the show. So I appreciate James coming on the show, and Mike and Dan for being here, and Liza for being here, and Bridget for being there at Dan's house. I really do appreciate it, It's really nice not thinking that it's really nice thinking that there's people out there agree with you, and you have a real voice out there, and that's what we have to really grasp onto, is we all have a voice. We all have something to say. And it may be something as minute as, we're being screwed, and something as, huge as, our government is completely installed and we're screwed. It gets really, really, really involved. But I would really love to have someone else call in for my last show, to, give us some what for. We got about 7 minutes. And
I'm going to take the opportunity to say thank you for all the conversation, because I feel we've had really good conversations, and it's made me think in different ways about different things, about everything. So, I just want to say thank you to everybody, and a big thank you to Justyn for his show too. So, it's been really fun. I've had a good time.
Much appreciated, Mr. James. Much appreciated. Anytime, dude. Of course, we talk about this stuff all the time, so it's not a big difference between me and you.
What we talk about, we just had an audience.
Yeah, exactly. So. It was like me and you in front of the whole center stage. But I'm just so happy that we can have this venue to talk about certain things, and I don't know, man. I'm very appreciative of everything that's gone on in the last 6 months.
And Justyn, how else can people from all over the place come to talk like this? It's like we're in a living room. That's how I feel. It's like we're in a fire or something,
Yeah, around a campfire talking. So what?
Darn right. Just like Vinny. I bet Vinny has a fire there.
It gets cold in the desert. It probably should have a fire.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been fun. I like I said, I've learned a lot from just listening to conversations, and it's definitely been cathartic too, and helpful in a lot of ways to not think that Justyn and I are the only two crazy people I know. So
yeah, we're all crazy.
We're all labeled crazy, anyways. But in the end, you know, when it does happen, and people are like, "Oh snap!" Like they were right. Like, you know, it's all right. I don't know. We have a nice comfortable group of, you know, close associations that will all be helpful, and we'll all survive in some way or another, I think.
Yeah, I think we will, you know. I think we will. Like, we're all moving forward. Moving forward is the big thing. Now, real quick, if I can ask Dan to do me a favor. Mr. Dan.
What you need, Justyn?
Oh, I mean, never mind. It's coming through now. I was going to ask you to reset the phones, but do we have Board on here with us?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
Hey, Board, man. I saw you saying in chat your line was busy. Now you're on, so I was going to have Dan, you know, reset the phones, but you're here. So what's up, man? You got about 4 minutes.
I know. Yeah, I only got a little bit of time. Just want to thank you for all the opportunities you gave me to rant. Really enjoyed this stuff. Good luck to you. Hope everything works out, and I hope we hear you back on there real soon. Thanks, Justyn. And
hey,
James,
man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, dude. You know, you always had really good points to bring on the show. And, you know, I like to keep everything open for the most part, as long as you're being sane and coherent when you're talking, to like bring up any point you want, like as long as you ain't being freaking crazy about shit. And I really, not you personally, Bored, by the way. Like, you always brought really good points and, really good conversation to the phone call. So, yeah, man, like, I appreciate it, and I will be on as soon as I can get my shit, you know, squared away, taken care of.
Hey, man, it's all good. Man. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night, Bored.
Take care, Bored.
Appreciate it, dude.
See you, man.
Wow.
So where do we go from here, Justyn?
I don't know. I want to say, man, I appreciate everyone that like calls in and, you know, I see in chat, like the chat is like, you know, bumping tonight, and it really makes me feel, you know, bad that like I have to go off air for a while. But when I get back on here, I've already, you know, made the point to, like, you know, when I get my shit squared away, like, I'm gonna come back on air and we're gonna deal with this. And, apparently, you know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And, I tried to have a Desert Hawk on just barely, but Hawk, dropped. So.
Well, you know,
if you want
another door opens, Justyn, so I wish you the best in your endeavors. You know that, and I'm sure you'll do good.
No, I appreciate that, Dan. I appreciate that. And, It's been an up and down hill, you know, roller coaster, really, about what's going on and what we can talk about and what's happening. You know, we're all in this together. We're just all in this together. And that's my point. Like, we're all in it together, no matter what.
That's what makes me feel good. I mean, that makes everything feel like it's going to be okay. The fact that we can talk to each other about these things.
Definitely.
That's very important, Liza. It's a good point you make there. You know, the Skype gives us that opportunity. You know, I think it's very cool. It's neat how Joel set this up on Skype, where we can be on air and talking on Skype at the same time. It's just awesome. Thank Jules for everything, really, for bringing us together.
That's right. You know, and I appreciate that, and I know you all do too. And I really think having everyone on. Anyone else get a hold of me, like through Skype, get a hold of me or Dan or Mike.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.